I love video games. But more importantly, I love having fun in video games. And even though I have my moments of being a little too competitive, I still prefer to turn off my brain and not really have to try when playing video games, because God forbid I challenge myself to put effort into anything during my ultimately meaningless time on this floating rock in space. I have tons of experience in gaming in all sorts of different genres and got pretty close to becoming a professional player in Counter-Strike, so naturally I'm pretty confident I can beat any game without a challenge except for maybe Elden Ring. I don't think I have mentally recovered from that experience yet. So I decided to play this popular new game called Baldur's Gate 5 Skyrim for the strategy-based combat and unhinged choices and gambling and world-building lore that makes you go, why the fuck did I need to know any of that? This game is popular for having a lot of depth, much like your mother. What the fuck does that even mean? Why did I write that? Literally everything has a backstory. We learn a lot about attractive edgy vampire, an attractive mysterious healer, and handsome goofy mage dude, an attractive tough guy warlock, an attractive mentally unstable demon hellspawn, and oh my god, I'm playing a fucking dating sim. As is tradition in RPG games, I spent an hour creating an imaginary character that I'll develop an unreasonably dedicated commitment to. So I made one that looks like my girlfriend, because I thought it'd be pretty cool to imagine what it'd be like if she were a bloodthirsty psychopath fueled by nothing but hate, unlike in real life where she's just a regular psychopath fueled by nothing but hatred. The game starts with a weird squid guy installing the latest NVIDIA driver updates on you against your will, and then suddenly these epic dragons started hauling ass, chasing after this dude, and then he whipped that bitch into overdrive. This is the last time the game's story will make any sense. My first multi-choice decision is basically, what coping skills do I use to process this situation? Then the voice in my head told me if I touch this thing, it'd break, and I don't trust anybody, not even myself, so I touched it, then fucking exploded. And then I got hit in the head by a fucking rock, knocking me out of the spaceship because I can't even sit down without screwing something up. Somehow I survived falling 1,000 feet after having a rock hurled 100 miles an hour at my skull, and the entire ship exploded next to me. But unfortunately, so did this girl that I accidentally saved while trying to figure out how dice rolling works. As I venture out into my first battle, I almost get killed by 3 brains with hands and legs, then only surviving because they missed 4 attacks in a row because they don't have eyes or ears, which makes almost losing to them all the more embarrassing. But I leveled up though and quickly got overwhelmed with choices and information because there's so much I need to read about spells and whatever the fuck eldritch invocations are. I just keep stumbling upon people who also have the NVIDIA driver and get a good idea of what is to come after my crossbow couldn't even break a bundle of sticks attached by rope. For a second I thought, how the fuck did all these people even survive the crash, but then I realized that game started with us flying a giant squid like it was a commercial airplane. Making my way to the camp of bandits, I get my first real battle against more than one person, and holy shit, I have no idea what I'm doing.
What the fuck?
It took me a full hour to get past just these guys, and I don't think I've ever had a game shit on me this hard before. I am learning so much, and yet literally nothing at the same time. The game randomly puts me in a turn-based mode, still not understanding how dice rolls work outside of speech checks, and wondering why it keeps saying perception failed. I just ignored all these things and deservedly ate shit.
What the?
Thankfully though, I figured out how to teleport to camp and restored all my fatal injuries by simply going to bed, in the same way I ignore all my problems by sleeping in. After narrowly escaping a skeleton ambush, I opened a sarcophagus and out comes this guy who looks like he's permanently on 1 HP. My girlfriend also got to see my character for the first time, so I didn't hear a word he said.
Oh my god.
I did the best I could to make it look like you.
He looks hot.
This is also the part I stopped recording and began streaming the entire game on Twitch, where you can probably find me gaming there, or I don't know, fuck you. Contrary to what you'd believe, today I learned that some people do want to be saved from a good sub. I am left with the difficult choice of choosing who I want for my squad, and this becomes a problem for the entire game. Do I want the incredibly annoying and toxic lizard woman who smacks shit really hard, or do I want the comedy relief magic guy who just kinda casts spells and, you know, like gets stuck in portals and talks too much and shit? I made my way up the mountain to a village being attacked by goblins and had an itty-bitty taste of how cruel this game could really be. 88% and it fucking missed! I leveled up again, now with more reading than ever. I got so excited to befriend this badass soldier guy and thought it was great that he's also a warlock like me, but I'm going to eventually realize that this is not a good thing and it will make me very sad. I hope the speech option is truly just optional and not because it's foreshadowing anything in the future. Also, side note, I have this really cool ability to talk to animals and it leads to really sick interactions, like me trying to beef with this rat by calling him fat for no reason. Also, druids are fucking weird because I can literally talk with animals, and these bears and wolves are just transformed people, so that means they're growling at me on purpose instead of talking. Eventually I found an emo from the Midwest struggling to think of lyrics for their upcoming single that only 26 people will listen to on SoundCloud, and I tried to give her some inspiration. I'm glad I could help, but respectfully that sounds like ass, and I'm not going to sit here listening to you play anything, and I hope I never see you again. And I don't know what happened, but after saving this girl from an assassin, Will just decides to kill himself, and then when I spoke to the girl, she was a massive bitch, and I was so distracted by how stupid this encounter was that I didn't even notice that Will was fucking dead. This was the first time I revived anyone, and I am flabbergasted that this guy did not have anything to say to me after literally bringing him back from the afterlife. You're not gonna say anything about how you just fucking died and I revived you? There's constantly shit happening in this game that it's hard to keep up, but wandering a little bit further into the forest, I stumbled upon two people with their dying brother. And because we have this NVIDIA driver, they recognized us as superior beings, considering me a true soul. This is the equivalent of worshipping anyone who has a brain tumor. The guy on the ground dying is also a true soul, and that's why these two posers are following him. I probably would have learned so much more about the story from this interaction if I had the awareness to realize that they were looking to kill the people from the ship instead of something nice like inviting us over for dinner. Also, I'm putting this in my pocket as a sweet little treat for later. Eat it. Put it in your mouth. What the? It hadn't dawned on me that this game gives free reign to do anything, so I kind of just scrambled around like an idiot for several hours without realizing that this whole game is a giant side quest. I'm observing. I'm trying to see if there's any traps nearby. Oh! Son of a bitch, the chest was the trap. Areas like this eat up my playtime because I just want to look at everything, and that always takes way too long. But it's not entirely my fault though that this game gives you complicated shit like this everywhere. Like you have to jump over here and pass a skill check to pick up some paper, but only certain characters can read it because it's yet another skill check. And it took all that to open a tiny ass chest, and inside is a bunch of shit that I don't know what to do with. After spending far too much time trying to sneak past this half bear, half owl, I gave up and shot its egg because I can. Having this much freedom is almost a curse because I'm able to do the most heinous sins you can imagine, kind of like this. This is such a cute dog. Can I keep him? I don't want to kill the dog, bro. But thankfully, you can just save before doing terrible things and act like it never happened. If you are really small, you can squeeze into some cracks in the wall, and if you're as lucky as I am, you'll somehow find yourself back in this fucking owlbear cave again. Why you're even able to come up here is a mystery for someone smarter than I am. What the fuck? Going towards the village and getting shit on by 10 goblins, I stumbled upon whatever the fuck this is.
One winner later.
I don't really have too many words for it, but all I know is that I gained absolutely nothing from seeing it, and my crew tried to kill themselves afterwards. Get out of the fucking... What the fuck are you guys doing? Yep, this guy is definitely the devil. I fucking knew it. I knew that this guy was the devil. Oh my god, it literally is Satan. Skeletons aren't supposed to be able to talk.
Correct.
Are you going to explain further?
No.
I told this lady I never want to see her again, but yet here she is in my camp for some reason. I mean, it's fine. I guess we kind of need a bard because Shadowheart doesn't have my favorite support abilities, so it'd be good to have a pure support character. Oh, alright, never mind. I forgot I created an actual psychopath. Why did you do that, Carrie?
Oh, fuck. I can't believe you've done this.
I can't believe I was immediately questioned when she had absolutely no reason to suspect I did it. This was such a weird accusation to throw at someone randomly if I didn't do it, of course, but she doesn't know that. I tried to speak to the dead body using a spell to see if I could self-report and ask how she died, and I also tried to use a revive scroll on her, but the game said no, so that sucks. No bard for me, I guess. Okay, so I tried to sneak up on the people in the house nearby and did a really bad job at it, but luckily this guy just wanted me to hunt down some demon or devil thing, I don't know, but he said he'd give me his sword for it, so I was like, oh yeah, sick, and I'll do it. Unfortunately, this started the most annoying sequences of events I've ever had in any game ever. So we go to meet this devil, and it turns out she's a lovely lad, and I don't like liars even though I will do it a lot in this playthrough, but Karlach also has one of those NVIDIA worms, and those guys at the tavern suck, so we teamed up to go kick their ass. Turns out that this guy is strong as fuck and kills two of us immediately, and just everything that happens here goes so wrong so quickly. But this is where the pain actually begins. I forgot to save because the game almost never fucking does it for you, so I have to talk to Karlach again and recruit her and level her up and then go back, so that wasted like another 20 minutes for nothing. I go back there and try to take initiative, but apparently they didn't realize my blatant assassination attempt, so they wanted me to pay a fine for committing a crime. So he got all his health back, I guess. I also forgot about this girl who was in the room with us in the fight before, and she just climbs the ladder behind us and becomes the most annoying enemy ever by putting Gale in prison and then running away. At the same time, I still didn't understand how opportunity attacks work, so Shadowheart just goes down immediately as well. As soon as Gale escapes, he gets put right back in, and even though we won the fight here, we don't have enough mobility to get back to him in time, so when he becomes free again, she just peeks around the corner and throws fucking acid in his face. Shadowheart then ran out of movement conveniently in the middle of this doorway, so I had to waste Karlach's turn jumping around her like an idiot. Finally, I got the chance to actually attack her, and my 70% chance to hit fucking missed, of course. Karlach also finally gets a chance to go up there and beat the shit out of her, and I found out why this idiot decided to just camp up here the whole time after she threw Karlach off the top of the fucking building. Are you kidding me? Gale just dies this turn too, so I have to now revive him later. Once again, I just try to kill her with this 70% chance attack, and it just fucking misses again. She then proceeds to push Shadowheart off the top of the building too, but luckily it didn't kill this time. So I just ignore her and go down the ladder to pick up Karlach, and we finally kill her. But we're not done yet. Karlach has a scripted event after this fight where she gets so angry that she just starts smashing shit for 10 turns, then burns everything around her, and you can't stop it. Can you take a guess where her turn ended? Are you fucking kidding me? She just killed herself. So I had to use a scroll to revive her, and when you revive someone, they only come back with 1 health. And for some reason, there is an invisible effect doing necrosis damage to us around here, so she went down immediately and fucking died again. What the fuck are you doing, man? What is going on? So I had to use 2 revive scrolls before even reviving Gale, who has been dead this entire time. It took literally forever to get back up here to revive him, and he also has this scripted event where he talks about the process of what to do if he dies, and I skipped half of it because he is talking too much. But then he makes you repeat it back to him exactly what the complicated steps are. This is obviously supposed to be a joke, but holy shit, is it the most annoying thing in the world to sit here and listen to after everything that just happened. Also, there is still necrosis and acid here, so Karlach almost dies a 3rd time with exactly 1 health to spare. After all that, I didn't do any of the shit he told me to, so I just used another scroll to revive him, which he didn't seem to actually notice. I had probably the worst headache I've ever had trying to process everything of what the fuck just happened, but I'm just glad that it's over, so I can move on. By the way, I totally forgot Karlach is a devil that Will told me he was hunting at the start of the game, so that's really funny. I forgot to bring him with on that mission. Thankfully, though, he just kind of folds in under a minute and is willing to truce without much pushback. I guess it doesn't take that much to persuade him. But more importantly... Hi, doggy! At this point in the video, I'd been playing for over 7 hours, and in real time, I hadn't even beaten the game yet. So let's just take a peek at how many hours I have total. Oh no. By the time you're watching this, I will be in the Philippines, so I can't just edit this all in one go. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to make do with this one for now and subscribe to see more. I promise and swear on Lord Jeebus that videos will become more frequent once I get back, but in the meantime, here's the greatest funny of all time.
But the kid is not my son. Ooh. She says I am the one.